What is up, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by the man with the picks, Pez. Looks like he's back in his natural habitat this week. What's up, Pez?
Back at the beach, Jeff, down here, South Jersey shore. We're not the tan gym laundry. That's a little bit up north. We're more of a hippie surfer community down here. Uh, Raining, Jeff. We crazy storms going through the last few days, canceling baseball. I think shaking things up. Must be hurting the Yankees. They stink. I don't know what's going on with this baseball. We'll get into that later. But Wimbledon, classy sport. We get some questions. Do we gamble it? We did put a play out. Djokovic plus 700 to win it. Third biggest favorite. We'll start betting a little bit more after today. First two rounds are crazy. First time ever there have been two of the top three seeds eliminated on day one. We had Coco Gauff, and I can't remember the European girl's name, but two of the top three in the women out. And we've seen a bunch in the men's side dropping out top 10. It's hot over there. These British, they don't wear shorts, Jeff. I don't know if you know that. British men don't wear shorts in public. It's a classy culture. I'm looking at it right now. No shorts. I've been to Europe a number of times in the summer. If you wear shorts, they mock you. In all European countries, maybe Italy and Spain a little bit different, but in Russia, they had some very derogatory comments about me for wearing shorts. And in England, they call you an American, which is fine for me. But yeah, they're walking around in their button downs, and I wonder if the American men have a little bit of advantage playing this heat. It's something we're going to watch. We got Tiafo going now in a big match, so we'll be getting on that's
All right.
coming.
Make sure you follow Pez on all of his social media platforms at Pez's Picks on both Twitter and on Instagram for more specific plays. And as he said, the plus 700 play for Djokovic in Wimbledon prior to it starting. But let's talk about something in the National Football League. You know, the football drives everything, even in the gambling world. NFL totals and future bets continue to be a strong part of our focus as we get ready for training camps in the month of July. But Pez, I want to get your take on a big trade that happened, of course, with my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins. What was your takeaway on the Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jalen Ramsey, and Jonnu Smith trade?
Jeff, we're feeling like we're reading the tea leaves before they're happening. We took the Steelers over, and we took the Dolphins under over the last few weeks, and I think both teams have suggested we did the right thing. To me, I feel like the Dolphins are surrendering this year. I mean, they're trading away talent that they need. You're bringing a guy out of retirement to replace Juno Smith. Uh, uh, poor Tua, right? Poor Tua. You're taking away his targets, and the Steelers. I still think right now the greatest value play, and the Steelers, we've lost some value. Taking them over 8.5 wins, it's down to even money. I think
Really?
we took. I think it was plus 140 when we took it, or something
That
like
sounds
that.
right.
Uh, Jalen Ramsey. You've now got probably two, or you might have all three of the best cornerbacks in the league. You've got Ramsey, you got Slay, and I'm forgetting the other guy,
Joey Porter Jr.
Joey Porter Jr. I mean, you probably have maybe the three best, right? I think Ramsey and Slay have the most defended passes over the last 5 or 6 years. You could put Ramsey at I don't know, safety, put him in the slot. You have all three out there at some time, maybe rest them. I I have no idea. I don't think it's the best value play. It hasn't changed too much even since Rodgers and all this. Steelers plus 4,500 to win the Super Bowl. I love it, Jeff. I love it. I think the Ravens, the Chiefs, we could see a step back. And aside from them in the AFC, who else is there? I don't trust the Bengals. I don't like the Joe Burrow show and dumping $100 million in the quarterback and receivers. I think it's a prime year for the Steelers. They're going all out. They're selling out. Smith, and he's getting his tight end back. Guy knows the system. He's going to step right in. I love it. I love everything about it.
I think the Jonnu Smith part of this trade is being overlooked by a lot of people because, of course, you have Jalen Ramsey and Minkah Fitzpatrick. Those are marquee names, all pro players, Pro Bowls, perennial Pro Bowlers. But Jonnu Smith is going to be a really good target for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
I mean, when you think about him, Pat Fryermuth, if you want to throw out a 3 tight end set with Darnell Washington and do 13 personnel, I know that's not Aaron Rodgers' favorite way to play the game. He likes more of a spread them out, give me as many wide receivers as possible. But they're going to have some options. The Steelers' offense is going to be a little bit, I think it's going to be more prolific than people expect. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to say that they're going to be a top 10 unit or anything like that. I think they're going to be more prolific than you think. And I think they're going to be, like you said, an AFC contender I'm not predicting they're going to win the AFC Championship and punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. But for people that thought that this is going to be a laughing stock, I don't think so anymore, Pez.
Uh, I couldn't agree with you more. DK Metcalf, I think, is a player. I talked about it with Jeremy Betts on his show last week, on his fantasy football show on the Fans First Sports Network. Great show, great guy. I think taking DK Metcalf for even receiving most receiving yards plus 5,000, taking him for really any prop play right now. I think the Steelers are going to air the ball out, Jeff. I think this is a year you could have Smith go out wide and play receiver with Freiermuth, with DK. And if Aaron Rodgers, everybody's saying the same thing, his ball is zipping out of his hand like it was 2-3 years ago. Achilles injury tends to take a year, a little bit older, maybe a year and a half. I love this offense. I love them going. You got to go all out to win the Super Bowl. There's no more building franchises for 5 or 10 years. Those days are over. You got, and I learned this from the Philadelphia Eagles. Do this every year now. They sell out to try to win the Super Bowl every year, and you have to make these moves. Maybe you get 1 year out of Rodgers. They win the Super Bowl. Every move was right. I mean, this is what every team should be looking to do. Chiefs do this. I think Buffalo's tried to do this year as well. But aside from Buffalo and Kansas City, who else is there, right? I don't fear another AFC team right now other than the Pittsburgh Steelers. And things have been so crazy with the NFL and these offseason moves for a while. FanDuel was pulling some of these season totals. I guess they were adjusted. They were taking them off the board. And I think plus 4,500 Pittsburgh Steelers win the Super Bowl. Lights out, best future play I've seen in a long time. $100, 4,500, $10 to win 450. I mean, you throw 25 on there, you're over $1,000. I love it, Jeff. In fact, I'll be at the casino later this week. I'll have on tape by the end of the week putting $25 on the Steelers win the Super Bowl. Pittsburgh, Eagles, Super Bowl. I love it, Jeff. I can't wait. I don't know where the Super Bowl is this year. Maybe we're going. I don't even know where the hell the game is, but maybe we're going. I love it.
Hey, that would be fun. The Battle of Pennsylvania, it has not boded well for the Steelers in the past few iterations of that matchup. But I don't want to spend the whole time talking about the Steelers. You've been looking at teams and NFL totals and future plays throughout the summer, and you're going to continue to do so leading up to training camp and the preseason. What are your most recent plays that you put out there in terms of NFL totals?
We've got one coming out this week, or we're taping today on Wednesday. It'll be dropping Wednesday, Thursday. Houston Texans, who are right now are plus 2,500 to win the Super Bowl. So one of the things we look at when we take a season total, how likely is a team to win the Super Bowl? If a team is in the top 10 or so to win the Super Bowl, they're more likely to cover their season total. Of course, injuries, everybody should know. I mean, that throws everything out the window. If you get screwed on a quarterback going down, you're done. But
Right.
We took Houston this morning. We're going to have that put out 9.5. You're getting them at even money. A new offensive coordinator, rookie wide receiver, looks fantastic. CJ Stroud, people are a little bit worried, and I think their odds dropped. He had a little bit of shoulder issue a couple months ago, but apparently that ball is zipping. The only question, offensive line, they've gutted it. I trust in the coaching staff, and I trust in any NFL ownership. They're billion-dollar corporations. They have put together an offensive line to protect this kid. They have to. It was one of the worst offensive lines last year. Running back situation with Chubb is better. I love this team. 9.5 to me. I think they're a 12-13 win team. CJ Stroud comes out firing this year. Beefed up receiving core. Mixon, Chubb. I love the running back situation. The defense got better. I think their moves suggest they are primed to compete for a Super Bowl. So 9.5, I think, is a bargain. We can run down. We finished the whole division last week. Bills, we're not taking a play. The juice was too big. Jets, we're taking the over 5.5, Jeff. That's a big play for us. I love that one. Miami, 8.5. We're taking the under. And Pats, no play on that one. Second-year quarterback, and the schedule's tough, so we're going to lay off of that. But I love Houston right now, 9.5 to win the division and to take the over. I think to win the division, they're plus 115. I love that all day. I love everything they're doing, and we talk about it all the time. Without an elite quarterback, you're nothing in this league anymore. You're nothing. I mean, you can't defend and run the ball to win anymore. You need a quarterback who's not going to turn the ball over, who's going to score points, whether it be with feet or with arm or both. And I think Aaron Rodgers was the move, right? I mean, that put the Steelers back in the conversation, and we'll have to wait and see. We don't trust rookie quarterbacks, Jeff, and that's something we talk about all the time. Second-year quarterbacks, we don't trust either. And I believe last year we took the under on Houston. I believe we hit on that one. So, Pats, no play. Bills, I like the team, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean,
Well, you're diving into the AFC South with the Houston Texans. I'll be really curious, and this is coming up. I'll be really curious with the Jacksonville Jaguars, where you have them. And I don't know what their line is for their total. It's probably around 7.5, I'd imagine. But, Trevor Lawrence, another year, he's got a new coach who's an offensive-minded guy. They've made some moves down there in Jacksonville. I'm not saying you got to give me a play right now, but I'm curious about where you're going with the Jags.
Not a fan of the kid from Dazed and Confused, who we talk about a lot, Jeff. I feel bad for him. Coaching changes. Doug Peterson, I don't know what happened to him. The guy went down there, went in a coma. I don't think he was coaching him. Currently, their line is 7.5. You're getting about even money. My lean is we're going to be taking the under. We're going to have to go. We go game by game. My lean is we're going to be taking the under. I don't like quarterbacks who are coming in gun shy, new coaching. I mean, this is probably his, third or fourth coordinator in his career. I don't even know.
He's coming off that sholdder injury, too, which ended his season early last year.
Bad news, shoulder injury, you lose zip on the ball, turnover rate goes up. And that 7.5 tells us that there isn't much confidence in them as well. If we look at their Super Bowl odds, we're going to have to go low, Jeff. I'm going to have to push the glasses down here a little bit so I can find them. I mean, plus 7,500.
Holy cow.
That tells us nobody has faith in them. To go below 500 means you're not making the playoffs, and the number being 7.5, 8. I mean, if they get to 8, they're still below 500. So my guess is no play, or we're going to have it 6 or 7 wins, and then we'll have that out by the end of the week. A tough division there, right? I mean that division. I honestly think the Colts could be a surprise team this year.
Really?
And that's a team we're really looking at. I think the quarterback situation is going to be different than maybe people think. I think that, in a new situation, we could see some more success. They have the same win total at 7.5. They actually have a little bit, they're a little bit more favored to get over that 7.5 than Jacksonville. I think that could be a sneaky team. I watch out for that. I think the quarterback, I don't think Richardson was the guy for the future. And I think the moves that we're seeing right now, I think Daniel Jones could be a winning quarterback, Jeff. I'm going to say it right here. We can see the same thing we saw last year in Minnesota. The guy's got a gun. We played against him as Philadelphia Eagle. I watched him a lot. Didn't get much help up there. Look for Daniel Green to be a breakout guy this year. I mean, not breakout, but maybe better than he was.
Well, I'll tell you this, and that AFC South is god-awful. I mean, when you look at Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Indianapolis, the South divisions in the AFC and NFC are the bottom of the barrel in both conferences, easily.
Tennessee is coming in right now. 5.5 is their line, Jeff. So at 5.5. I mean, what?
5.5.
A total surrender. Right? I don't even know who's quarterbacking that team. I couldn't even tell you.
That's the first number one overall pick, Cam Ward.
Is he going to start, Jeff? I hope not, right? I think what teams should look at and what fans should look at, when you throw a quarterback on a bad team out there on week 1, you're setting them up for failure. I mean, we saw it last year in Chicago. You can destroy a career by putting a guy out there with a team that's not qualified to support them and protect them. I hope he doesn't start. I hope Will Levi, the denim rider, I hope he gets back out there, Jeff. I still have faith in that kid. What a letdown last year. That was our biggest failure last year. We loved Tennessee. And, you know what? The quarterback. When the quarterback is bad, the team's bad. There's no more, plugging holes in the dam, protecting the quarterback. I think Tim Tebow, who I like, Jeff, I think would be better in this league today, couldn't throw the ball a lick, and that team made it to the playoffs. I believe he got a playoff win. I don't think we're going to see that anymore. The defense is too fast. The rules have changed. You've got to be able to move the ball down the field in the air. And I feel bad for Cam Ward. I'm not positive he's a number 1 pick either. I'm not positive on that. I think he's a little bit size issue. We'll see. We'll see. I think we can see the same we saw in Chicago last year.
All right, we'll be breaking that down. And again, follow Pez on his social media handles, Instagram and Twitter at Pez's Picks. Let's talk Major League Baseball for as good as we were in the NBA Finals and in the NBA playoffs, and as good as we've been in the postseason in a lot of different sports. we've hit a lull in baseball. We're on a 5-game skid. The haters are out in full force.
Love it.
What's your takeaway on that?
Jeff, I hope people understand this. Every gambler goes on losing streaks, right? Especially on baseball. We're proud of that as a gambler. Losing makes you remember the joy of winning, right? This is not an exact science. I mean, you can have data, algorithm, whatever. And in baseball, you're betting so many things. You're betting starting pitching, you're betting hitting, you're betting middle inning guys, relief guys. I've never seen a baseball year where we have so many blown games. I mean, we're losing games in 10th, 11th innings, and these aren't excuses. This is the reality of baseball handicapping. Not concerned about it. I feel bad for people losing money possibly, but these are the trends that you have to kind of accept if you're going to bet baseball on an almost daily basis. This time of year, it's garbage. Pre All-Star break, weeks before, you're out of gas, right? These pitchers are out of gas. Closers are out of gas. People kind of lose their focus. After the All-Star break, things start to line up a little bit more. The fact we're seeing, the Mets get swept by garbage teams and the Yankees getting swept in Toronto. I watched with a buddy of mine. He had big money on those Yankees yesterday, dogging home runs out of that Toronto stadium and wearing red jerseys. Jeff, when did Toronto start wearing red? I don't know if that's affecting the gambling or what, but we will get back to the winning days, and we're not too concerned about it. But I caution people that follow other handicappers who pretend to win every day, Jeff. This is a bunch of bullshit, right? You can put out we're plus money, this or that. It's wins or losses. So at the end of the day, we stand by our win or loss record. You gamble as much as you want. You want to wrap them in parlays, which I don't believe in, but go right ahead. At the end of the day, nobody wins every week. Nobody wins every game. I see other people on Instagram, and a lot of times they're very attractive women, which I'm not, Jeff, but they're putting out positive numbers every day, and you got to pay to see their real pics. I'm calling malarkey on all them. You got to be out in the open. You got to be transparent. We're accepting the loss, Jeff. 5 straight games. I accept that loss. My kid gives me a hug every day. Goes, "Did you win last night?" I go, "Nope." We're going to get back on that winning streak. Today, the card's bad. Tomorrow, we're going to get back on this winning streak.
Okay.
And I guarantee we're going to have this thing figured out in the next couple of weeks.
I mean, sometimes you just got to take a day to just collect yourself, and then you got to get back at it. Yeah,
you got to step back.
All right. Now, we talk about gambling, talk about casinos, especially you can talk about cheating. And you wanted to bring up a situation in the World Series of Poker where there was cheating allegations. I want to say that I saw 2 videos, and you're a casino guy, so I wanted to bring this up to you. One of which was there was a high-stakes blackjack table. It was $25,000 just to be able to sit and play. And this guy was not being comped a banana and strawberry daiquiri because he wasn't staying at the resort. He was staying at another place. And they said, since you're not staying here, there was no alcohol involved because he's playing blackjack. He wanted to keep his mental acuity. And he's like, I just want this daiquiri. You're telling me I'm paying $25,000 to sit here. They wouldn't comp the drink. I think that's a little much. Second one is there was and I don't think this was the World Series of Poker, but someone was filming people playing Texas Hold'em. And for those that don't know, it's a poker game. And so they go to throw the flop, and the dealer puts down 4 cards and then is trying to pick it up. And I'm thinking to myself, you need to redo everything. Like, you give everyone their money back. You need to collect the cards. Pez, what the hell's going on in these casinos?
Well, dealers, Jeff, and I've been guilty of this as a younger man. They make mistakes. When you get dealt pocket aces and the dealer flops 4 and then has to reshuffle, you tend to not be very nice to them. And I think that's part of the game. What was I removed by a handful of security guards from the Taj Mahal about 20 years ago for this actually happening with a lot of money? People go in. People are doubling down. I had 2 guys go all in pre-flop by pocket aces. The flop comes with an ace, put 4, reshuffle. Possibly I was removed. Luckily, I did know the Atlantic City police officer who helped escort me out. But neither here nor there, Jeff. At the end of the day, those accidents happen. The World Series of Poker has a problem. There were 2 players on a final table. They have a bunch of these circuit tournaments that come up. You get bracelets for all kinds of different tournaments. So they had a $1,500 entry fee tournament. 2 guys make it to the final. Turns out one of them has a side deal with the company. If he wins any bracelet this summer, he got $1 million bonus. It's alluded. He talked to his competitor. They're both heads up, final 2. allow me to win, and I'll give you 500 grand of that. And when we looked at when the casino, and then now all of us now have looked at their hands and their style of play, total collusion, Jeff. Total. I mean, these guys are folding hands. They're doubling down on, like high two pair. They're flopping it. They're folding in, and they've decided not to hand out a bracelet. Now the money is a point of contention. They're definitely getting the $1 million bonus. It's already been given to the winner, who says, "Oh, I had no collusion with this guy." They've announced the World Series of Poker will not give them a bracelet. I think the money they're going to have to give them at some point. I mean, I think they're going to have to. But I wonder with poker, and I wonder in general, how there's a lot of money going on now, and there's a lot of ways to cheat. I've seen people removed from casinos for marking cards. I've seen dealers removed at blackjack and poker tables for alleged collusion with players. It's an ugly business, Jeff, and gambling has always had this type of what we call a mechanic. A mechanic is somebody that cheats, basically. A mechanic is somebody that cheats either dealing or cheats by marking cards. Pez's picks, a problem we have at a table. I don't speak any foreign language, Jeff. I feel stupid for saying that, but you cannot speak a foreign language at a poker table during a hand in front of me if I'm playing against one of you. You're cheating, right? I don't know what you're saying, and this is something that I wonder is getting worse with more money and more people gambling. People are always trying to find an edge. It's turned into the stock market. It used to be an honest game, Jeff. If you cheated a cowboy in the old days, they pulled out a gun and they shot you. That's not, well, maybe we need to go back to that, Jeff. Maybe we need to go back to carrying at the table. I don't know, but it's something that's troubled me. I've stepped away from poker because of this. People can sit down at the table, and you can have, non-audible, tells to let somebody know what you're holding or what you're doing. And it's something that, I go into the Borgata in Atlantic City, which is kind of the center of East Coast poker now, and it's dying out. People are playing at home, and I know they're cheating at home. I watch these kids with their headphones, their hoods on, and they wear the stupid slides. I know they're cheating, Jeff. I know, and it pisses me off. I used to try to take them, but at this point, I'm at the point where I'm not trying to prove anything. Keep the money in the pocket, look for an honest game. But I think the World Series of Poker has a big problem on its hands.
Yeah, and so does basketball. You wanted to talk about a basketball scandal, which might just be heating up. Go ahead and talk about that, another cheating scandal.
So Malik Beasley, who I think was offered a 3-year, $42 million deal, was on the table. Turns out the guy had some money issues. I mean, a guy that's made $50-60 million in his career, you wouldn't think, but it's been discovered he had some sort of like financial interest in a group. They claim he owes $650,000, and he's being investigated for prop plays, Jeff, where he was through probably a third party betting against, I don't know, his assists, his points on a night, which maybe isn't affecting the game, maybe it is, but I wonder if this is more rampant, and now with algorithms and now with super data, computers, it's probably going to be easier to catch. I like when players get big salaries. I love that SGA, Gilgeous-Alexander, is getting 70-some plus $1 million a year. He's not taking bribes, Jeff. This guy's not cheating, right?
Right.
The more you pay them, and I had a small business owner who owned about 50 small businesses. He said if you pay people more, they're less likely to steal than if you put in security cameras and make it hard. Anybody can find a way to cheat. So I think the NFL is good at this. I doubt any NFL player is taking bribes or cheating. I can't see a quarterback receiver dropping balls or throwing picks intentionally. And with the NBA, I think this is a little bit of an issue. You can have a ton of action on these prop plays. With Wimbledon, we talked about one way that they find out. Malik Beasley probably had an incredible amount of action on his prop plays that he never had. Just like in tennis, it could be some sort of qualifier tournament. The Russian players do this a lot. $4 million on some, like a Belgian Open or something goes in and the guy loses. So at the end of the day, I think legal gambling is going to prevent this. And I think with cards, it's going the opposite direction. So you have to be careful what you're getting into. But at the end of the day, the NFL benchmark honest gambling. That's something we bank on. And that's why I think we do better at that. You know what you're getting in the NFL. You know the product. You know they're playing hard. And no guaranteed contracts, right? I mean, this is another thing I kind of like as well. So I think the NBA's had a rough year. With the injuries, with the stars blowing Achilles, and now with this gambling situation. They got to get a hold of their organization. They have to go more NFL. I think they should hire a guy from the NFL like PGA did, the benchmark of sports around the world, without a doubt.
All right, well, talking about the PGA Tour, let's finish up talking about this week's PGA Tour event, the John Deere Classic, which, man, this is a dud. If you have to be a golf sicko to want to watch the John Deere Classic. The field is not good. The Rocket Classic last week had a very good finish. Aldrich Potgieter winning in a 5-hole playoff, but
love that guy, Jeff.
He hits fantastic. The ball a ton, man. He crushes the ball.
Golfers are the best thing for golf, Jeff. It's the greatest thing. It angers everybody like yourself, and I'm not as far as you, but fitness guys, we like to be in shape. When a fat guy goes out there and smokes a PGA tournament, there's nothing better, Jeff. There's nothing. Fat guys, tubby guys tend to have a good touch. I know a lot of chubby guys with great hands, Jeff. This is something my whole life. I'll watch a chubby guy, can't play another sport, smoke that ball 300 yards. It's like a ballerina out there. I love that guy. That's exactly what the PGA needed, a young stud like that, a fun, big guy. I love him.
He's not even 21 years old. He's only 20, South African. He got his tour card early because he won a Korn Ferry Tour event. This is, and we talked about this on my golf podcast, this is what the PGA Tour should be focusing on.
Sure.
These young, talented players. The guy hits the ball a country mile. He harkens back to the days of Craig Stadler and John Daly when they were on the tour. You know, you got the pot belly and they're just carrying a little extra weight around.
Well, was it a Geiserman, Jersey boy? I think it's his second place finish. I felt really bad. And neither one played bad in that playoff. That playoff was great. I mean, the putt to win had to be 20 feet, right? I mean, that's a long putt.
Yeah, he made birdie. I mean, what are you going to do?
In that Detroit, these are tournaments that, I wish more stars would play. You get a sprinkling of stars in these little ones, even the John Deere. Occasionally you might get, a Phil out there or somebody. But these young guys, I love it. Ben Griffin this week, a big favorite. I love these new guys. I'm coming around, Jeff. You've talked me back into it. The PGA, doing great. I'm going to, I love this guy. I got a weird feeling. I don't know if he's going to win, Jeff, but I'm going to put him out there. I got to go all the way to the bottom here. My man, Joel Damon, plus 17,000, Jeff.
17,000.
He's top 10 in a couple categories in PGA. I mean, he hits a lot of greens. His putting's been bad. He had success in this tournament about 5 years ago. Plus 17,000, a weird guy, a great story, a kind of a wide open tournament. I don't know what the weather's going to be out there, but it's going to be hot. A guy that, he beats up on himself. Plus 17,000, Joel Damon. I love him all day. This guy's going to keep his car, Jeff. Netflix, that guy made me a fan. I support him every day. I love him.
Yeah, John Deere is in Illinois. And so these type of areas, you talk about Detroit last week, Illinois this week, they don't get a lot of events. This isn't like Florida or California, but that's how the PGA Tour is back. I mean, so people love these events and they're always highly attended. And the last week's Rocket Classic got I think set new marks for viewers and watching. It is incredible. But
awesome.
And Colin Morikawa was the biggest name in the field. This week, wide open. If you want another play, you could look at Jake Knapp. He played well last week. He had a top 5 finish, and I think he is plus 3,500 around there to win. I think that's a good play if you're looking for some strong odds. And even Jason Day is the second odds-on favorite at plus 2,500, and he played well at the U.S. Open at Oakmont and kind of struggled down the stretch. I think his game's rounding into form. I like him a lot.
For the last 2 years, this guy's been – he should have a win. Right? I mean, he's been playing great. He's wearing the weird clothes. I don't know his sponsor, but, he gets a lot of hype from that.
He's a Malbon guy.
I don't know what the hell it is, Jeff, but I love it. He looks like an 80s hip-hop guy. He looks like Sinbad out there. I love him. And Knapp, these are guys that are the future. I think they should have more. I don't like these signature tournaments, Jeff. These guys should have the ability to go in and win the Jack tournament, the Arnold tournament. It shouldn't be these set fields. I think it's un-American. Top 50, that's a very difficult thing. You got to be top 50 in the world to get in the biggest tournament. That's a bunch of crap. These guys deserve the chance like any of these other dudes. Some of these dudes in the top 50, like Tony Finau, it's been terrible for like 3 years now, right? So at the end of the day, I hope this new, whatever we call him, director, commissioner of the PGA,
CEO.
I hope CEO, whatever it is. But I love this tournament. They got the John Deeres out there. They got the tractors.
Yeah.
Jeff, don't know if I've ever admitted this. I've always wanted a John Deere hat, but I've barely cut a lawn in my life, Jeff. I've always wanted to sit on one of those green John Deeres and have that hat, maybe a piece of straw hanging out of my mouth. One day, Jeff. One day I'm gonna come down
We're
to
gonna
that
make
farm
it
country.
happen. I'm gonna buy you a John Deere hat.
Maybe Fans First Sports Network next year's company bonus. Pez's Picks hits the NFL playoffs again. Maybe I get that John Deere. I got about a 15 by 15 yard lawn in the backyard. I'll put that John Deere back there. It'll take me 2 minutes. I love it.
All right, this is fantastic. Make sure you check out all of our stuff, and make sure you check out Pez on his social media handles. Pez, any final thoughts?
Apologize for the baseball, Jeff, but I'm glad it's happening. You know, we're human here at Pez's Picks. We admit to losing. In fact, I'm going to put an Instagram video up saying that I challenge any other handicapper when they lose games, take the loss, Jeff. A bunch of crap, these people. Oh, but my plus numbers here, my minus here. It's wins and losses, Jeff. It's an American motto. It's wins and losses. We take the L's. We take the responsibility. And we're going to get back on the winning trail, Jeff. I'm not worried about it one bit. You know, we took a week off. Maybe we relaxed a little bit after NBA. I'm taking all the blame here. I could blame my kid, but that'd be on American too. But he'll take it's your fault, Leo. It's yours. But at the end of the day, we're going to get back on the winning streak. Lock that up.
Love it. Love it. All right. Thanks for your time, man. Make sure you check us out next week on another episode of Pez's Picks. Take it easy. Enjoy your weekend.